Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Moving Beyond Life's Giants here with Will Weeks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so greatly appreciative of you and the time that you're taking out of your busy day just to tune in to our segment. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest that we have here today, all the way from Canada. Her name is Michelle Virog. Michelle, can you say hello to everyone, please?
Hi, guys.
All righty, all righty. All smiles, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. Today's segment is going to be slightly different than what we typically do, although, the outcome is definitely still the same. We're still looking to inspire and to help others understand that regardless of your socioeconomic status or regardless of the career path you might have chosen for your life, regardless of whatever you feel your family legacy may be in this world or in your community, every last one of us have giants that we're dealing with. And even though we may have giants, that doesn't mean that we can't be successful. It doesn't mean that we can't maneuver beyond those giants in our lives to still find success. And more importantly, to also be a blessing to others with the talents and gifts that we have. Today, we're going to be talking with Michelle, who throughout her life, she's had some difficulties. She's had some challenges, but oh boy, she's been able to turn that around and to build a platform that has really been a wonderful success. And I'm going to definitely let her talk more about that. But again, I just want to set the stage and let you know that we have a wonderful person here, and she's certainly going to be sharing some good information with us. So, Michelle, definitely let's go back to the beginning. You and I have had an opportunity to spend some time off air, just kind of talking about some things with you and your life and rewind, if you will. So let's talk about some of those difficulties. Let's talk about some of those challenges that you've had to deal with, throughout your life that might have tended to be bleak at some point, might have been incredibly frustrating in others, but you've been able to turn some things around. Let's talk about that a little bit.
For sure, Will. So when I was 8 years old, I was diagnosed with kidney failure. And so I've lived with kidney disease pretty much my whole entire life.
Hmm.
I was able to luckily get a transplant when I was 8, but I went back on dialysis when I was about 23. So pretty much just around the age when I'm finishing university and getting started on my career path. So it really affected my career goals and my career path just because I would have lots of appointments. I had surgeries I had to go in for. I have had to do medical treatments. So I always had this vision of myself just working really hard and being very successful. But
Hmm.
when I hit this roadblock of having my kidney failure kind of come back up on me, it just really put a stint in those career goals that I had. And I would end up getting laid off from some jobs just because of my attendance at certain places. Not that I wouldn't work hard and work to try to make up time that I missed, but just because I wouldn't be physically in the office during that like typical 9 to 5 work week that most office jobs have. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, but once there was just one job that I ended up getting laid off of, and I had just kind of had enough and said I just needed to take control of my future and of my own success. And
Hmm.
that's when I ended up starting my social media business. And that was about 3 years ago now. And I just haven't looked back since I started my business. So,
Wow, wow.
yeah.
That's incredible. So let me ask you this, because I'd like to back up just a tad bit and
Yep.
and ask you a few questions. So you had mentioned about the kidney failure and you were having some difficulties with the kidneys. To your knowledge at this point, is this something that was hereditary, or do we know exactly what caused this, or we're really not sure? We just know that this is something that befell you.
It was actually, so the technical term is called glomerulonephritis. What ended up happening was I had strep throat as a child, and the
Hmm.
virus actually traveled from the strep throat into my kidneys and damaged my kidneys. And the doctors just found out too late. Like by the time they realized what was happening, my kidneys had already failed. So that's ended
Interesting.
up what happened. Yeah.
Wow. So that happened at the age of 8. And
Yes.
so let me ask you this. Did that particular medical condition cause any challenges for you as a kid growing up? Were there some things that you weren't able to do? Did it create some limitations?
Well, I definitely spent a lot of time in the hospital. I also had there was medications that I had to take that caused some physical appearance differences.
Mm,
So there were times that other kids just didn't understand like what was going on with me, and it's definitely
mhm,
hard at that age because for me, I was kind of forced to grow up really fast. And become really strong and independent. But at the same time, like other kids my age, it's hard for them to understand these big medical things that are happening with one
mhm.
of their classmates or one of their
Exactly.
friends. So that's definitely a challenging piece that was difficult to work through for sure.
Um,
Also missing a lot of school. I think when I was in grade 2, like I barely passed grade 2, but because I read a lot and I kept on top of my school studies, even while being in the hospital, I was still able to push through and stay on top of my school grades and stuff. So yeah.
so is it safe to say that you also had some parents, or you had a support system that really helped to push you as well?
For sure. Yeah, I definitely have a great support system of a family in general that helped me through a lot of what I had to go through.
Okay. And then as you begin to get older, um, you begin to allude to the fact of how this began to interfere with just a traditional work style. Let's talk about that a little bit because, interestingly enough, the correlation here is because of the different things that's happening now with the COVID-19 and so on and so forth. Everybody is forced to really be in some untraditional kind of, um, styles of work and teleworking and what have you. But in this case with you, a traditional work style didn't tend to really be a good path for you at the time because of, I'm assuming, the different appointments and medications and so forth that you were on, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I always have to go into the hospital for either appointments or medical tests, even if it's just blood tests or
Mhm.
CT scans or ultrasounds. Sometimes there's things that happen where some of my levels might be off a little bit, and then I have to
Okay.
go in for certain treatments. Or something like that. So it takes me away during the day because generally hospital appointments are during the day
That's
when
right.
people are
Exactly.
working.
Exactly. Right. Right.
um,
Right.
but I really like how you mentioned the fact that now people are kind of forced to be in
Hmm.
this work from home environment because of this COVID-19 situation. And I
Hmm.
actually just did a social media post on that. And I said how it's ironic that so many people are now like companies have to have that work from home option because they're forced into that option, when really I think there are so many companies that can implement this as an option already, and
Absolutely.
have the working from home as an option for their employees.
Well, not to deviate away from what we were just talking about, but I will say this very quickly that I think that what we're also seeing, being that you mentioned this, is that a lot of what's happening now, as far as the new practices that businesses and organizations all around the world literally are now doing, is they're finding out that there are some things that really are effective and it works. And a lot of times we have always closed a door or locked a door because we've always thought it wasn't going to work. We couldn't accomplish that in this particular manner. Whereas now we're forced to think outside the box. We're forced to think creatively. We're forced to, as that old show Star Trek said, we're forced to go where no other man is there to go before, but it wasn't by choice. We had no
Mhm.
choice. And so now, we're seeing that some of those things really are effective, which is a great springboard for you because unlike within your situation, there was a giant there that caused you to have to think creatively about, what the next steps were for you as far as your career path and, what things were going to be looking what things were going to be looking like for you towards the future. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think just being able to um, like move past that as a hurdle and kind of take
Hmm.
advantage of my own future was definitely a big step for me, but a challenging one, but also a rewarding one as well.
Right, right. So let's talk a little bit about, so the business that you have. Let's go back to its infancy stages. How was this? We know it was birthed from a level of difficulty, but take us on a journey with you and explain how did this truly come about, from thought process to actual fruition. What happened? What were the steps, that were really happening, maybe even behind the scenes, that was bringing this passion of yours to life?
For sure. I know that when I first started, it was just kind of a small idea that I had building in my head, and I kept putting it off or putting it down. I was like,
Hmm.
"There's no way I could start a business on my own. Like, it's too much work. I don't think I can do
Hmm.
this." But
Exactly.
um, and it was definitely hard for me to kind of take those first steps.
Hmm.
But I have a friend who owns her own business, and she is an athletic therapist. So far
Hmm. Okay.
from the type of work that I'm doing, but even just talking with her and my own frustration on how I had lost my job and got laid off. And she just kind of started planting seeds, I guess, in my head
Mm.
about how she loves having her business and she can make her own hours, and have I ever thought of doing that myself. And she just kind of started, just the way she was talking about how much freedom she would have because she could make her own hours, and how that lifestyle would work well for me and my health situation. So that definitely started planting the seeds in my head.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
also started, at the same time, I was also reading a book called, I believe it's called You Are a Badass. And I
Okay,
can't remember the name of the author at this moment, but
okay,
it's just
okay.
a very inspirational and motivational type of book just saying
Hmm.
that like you're awesome and you're incredible and you can do anything that you put your mind to, and whatever you're dreaming and wishing, like take advantage of those opportunities and go after your dreams and things like that. So that was also like really motivating me as well to take advantage
Hmm.
of my future. And so those two kind of combined together, and it just kind of told me like now is the time, like if I'm gonna try out having my own business and starting my own
Hmm.
business, like
Hmm.
this is the time to do it, this is what I'm gonna do. So
Hmm.
that's just kind of when I started. And
Right, right.
yeah, just because I knew that I was going to have to do like a lot of work in trying to sell myself and sell what I wanted to offer to people. So
Hmm.
yeah, I just decided to go for it.
It's interesting. You've said some things that I'd like to piggyback off for a minute, Michelle.
Yep.
You know, speaking of giants and difficulties, you had one level of difficulties that you had to deal with, dealing with the medical challenges. Now, on top of that, you are looking to step out of your comfort zone. And when I say our comfort zone, step out of the norm, step out of what we're comfortable with, step out of, quite frankly, what we know. To what degree did fear, uh, what role did fear play in you trying to decide whether this was the time to make this step or not? Fear is it's a giant for so many people. You know what I mean? Whether you've had medical difficulties or not, fear alone stops so many people in their tracks. So was fear, or did fear have a role to play in your deciding whether you should move forward with this or not?
Definitely. I mean, starting your own business is extremely scary because you keep thinking like, what if I can't make sales? What if I fail? What if I don't make any money? You know? And
The number one thing. What if I'm not? Yeah.
exactly. What if I can't pay
Yeah.
my bills? So
Right. Exactly.
yeah, so fear is definitely a big part of it, but I was kind of weighing my options. And I mean, when you think of having a career and working as an employee for another company, you
Hmm.
are putting your future in someone else's hands
Hmm.
because you have a boss and you are accountable to all these other people. And so
Hmm.
you can
Hmm.
easily go in one day, which happened to me a few times, go into
Hmm.
work and someone pulls you into their office and they're like, sorry, you're done. In
Hmm.
um as many words or whatever they say to you. But so your career and your success path is always in the hands of someone else. Whereas if you are your own business owner, then you are in control of your own success plan and you have control of your future. So whether you succeed or fail and push on and start over again, then that's
Hmm.
all in your hands. So
Right.
that's what I kept thinking of. And I just kept thinking, like, if I fail, then I just start over again. And that's
You
what
just
pushed
reinvent
me
yourself.
through. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Now, what's interesting? I love this point. And before we move on, I love this point you just made when you said, if I fail, say it again. You will do what?
You start again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm going to tell you why I love that, because when I look around now and we look at, the economic impact that this COVID-19 has had, not just on, our locale, country, world, but, literally everywhere. One of the things that really stands out to me is something you just said. How many people are really looking at their businesses and saying, if we're going to survive, if we're going to move beyond this particular set of circumstances that we found ourselves in, we're going to have to reinvent ourselves, correct?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
we're going to have to revisit and revise our business model, because our business model of yesteryear worked great, but now we're moving into a different time era. Things have changed so significantly, right? And so what you said, and you said it so confidently, you said, if I fail, which that's a questionable statement, because some would argue that you didn't really fail. You just realized that that wasn't working and you would need to just reinvent yourself. That is so difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people are afraid of treading new ground. They're afraid of pioneering. And, some people are more comfortable being a settler than they are being a pioneer. So I love what you just said there. And I think that's so key. So, Michelle, moving forward, so you started this business, and what is the name of your business now?
It's called Bold Social Strategies.
Talk to us a little bit about that. That's an interesting name. What is that, and what specifically is it that you do?
For sure. So I started out, I've worked in the digital marketing world for quite a number of years now. I would say about 7 to 8 years. And I was working on everything from websites to SEO to social media management,
Hmm.
blog writing, and more. So when I started my business, I knew that I couldn't do all of that stuff all by myself.
Hmm.
So I really wanted to pick one area to focus on. And I picked social media because I think that there are so many businesses that need help in that area.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
2020, but there's still a lot of businesses and business owners too, entrepreneurs that just they get overwhelmed by social media and they get overwhelmed with how to position themselves as an authority on social media and how to get their brand name out there. So that's really what I wanted to focus on for my business and just help more business owners understand social media and how that they can use it for their business.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I created the name Bold Social Strategies because I know you really have to be bold. You have to be not afraid to stand out and be bold on social media, and
Hmm.
just being
Right.
able to implement the proper strategies in social media as well to really stand out.
And wouldn't you say, from your experience in doing this, you're definitely the expert, and we're going to talk about why. But wouldn't you say that that's very difficult, because on the social media platform in general, and it really doesn't matter what social media platform you're on, but you're up against so much, and I'll use the word loosely, you're up against so much competition, right? And there's so many other things going on until it's really difficult to understand, or to really figure out, how do I take what I have, my content, my intellectual property, whatever it is, and how do I make it, like you said, stand out, so it cuts through the mustard, so to speak. And how do you, what are some tips that you usually um, do with businesses to help them to help them really with that personal branding? Like, what are some things that you just kind of stimulate their mind to at least begin to look at?
For sure. Yes, and social media is definitely very noisy, especially right now, because that's where so many people are spending a lot of their time is
True.
on
Yep.
social media.
Hmm.
And yeah, like every single platform, it's very, very noisy. So um, definitely some tips that I look when I'm working with someone is what type of content are they posting? Because content is really going to grab people's attention. Like, are you sharing just third party content where you're sharing memes or other people's videos from YouTube, or are you really posting your own content, providing valuable tips about what you offer, providing advice on steps that your customers can take? Are you really sharing information that people want to know about, that they can actually start implementing, like step-by-step instructions or industry news? Are you providing like really in-depth, valuable information to your audience? So that's definitely one thing that I look at. Same with how often that you are posting your content as well. If you're only posting 2 times a week, well, there's a lot of filler time in between there for other people to grab your audience's attention and steal them away from your business. Another tip I would definitely say is making sure that your links are accessible everywhere that you can make them accessible, whether that's on your personal page, on your Facebook business page, just making sure that you are implementing that next step that you want your customers to take.
Right.
Because if you may be giving them so much valuable advice and information and tips, but then if they go back to you to try to connect with you, sorry, that was my dog in the background.
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
If people are confused about how to work with you next, then they're not able to take that next step to connect with you. So making sure that you have the right steps in place to lead your customers like along a journey and along a path. Another thing that's really great is having like a Facebook group, because Facebook groups build community and they also build up a network of followers that want to engage with your content. So having a Facebook group is really, really important, because it's a way to bring people in along with your journey, but it's also like a community of people that are interested in specifically what you're talking about. So it's a really great way to build up a client base as well.
Wow, that's some healthy information. I mean, that really is really, because it's simple in nature, but I think it's something that many people really don't give a whole lot of thought about when they're looking to try to push their personal brand. Let me ask you this. What do you think is single-handedly the most difficult thing for most people to do as they're looking to push a personal brand on any social media platform? What's, if you could narrow it down to one, what do you think is the one most single-handedly difficult thing for most people?
I definitely think content is a big issue, because I have a lot of people that they don't know what they should be talking about, or they don't know they don't know how to implement like a content strategy, like an actual content plan, and focusing on the different topics they should be talking about and why they need to be talking about certain topics. And just knowing that they need to give people different forms of content as well. So you don't just want to be posting written content, but you want to be posting both written content and video content. You want to be posting both long forms and short forms. Not everyone is going to tune into maybe an hour-long masterclass presentation, but people might tune into like a 5-minute quick tip that you post. So just making sure that you're posting different forms of content, but also different lengths as well. So, and understanding that your audience consumes and learns information in different ways. I think that's a really important concept to understand.
That's amazing. And that information is cross-platform. So we're not just talking specifically about Facebook. We're talking about, whether it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram.
Yeah.
We can talk about YouTube, Twitter,
Yeah.
all the way across the board. Right. And with what you do, would you say that you find that are certain platforms easier to navigate or to maneuver to accomplish those particular outcomes you were just mentioning? I mean, are certain and I guess it does kind of depend on what you're looking to do, but do you find certain platforms fit certain types of content a lot better as far as trying to push that brand?
Well, it really depends. I would say when you're looking at the social media platforms, you really want to first identify exactly who your target audience is, because you'll want to use different social media places to target your dream clients. For example, if you're looking to really target business owners and more high profile like CEOs and like owners of businesses, then you'd really want to be focusing on LinkedIn and maybe not so much Instagram.
Good
Instagram is
point.
really great for makers like artisans and local makers because a lot of people take a lot of visual images of their products. So Instagram is very, very visual.
Mhm.
So it really depends on where your target market is hanging out. And that's kind of the place that you want to focus on being.
Right.
I always say, like, you don't have to be everywhere at once. Some people think that they need to be on every single social media platform, but I would say master one first and then
Right.
slowly add in others as well.
Very good point. Very good point. So right now, Michelle, you are based in Canada, but you're working with folks literally everywhere, like just all over the different country, maybe different clients all over the world currently.
Yes, yeah, I am. And that's one thing I love about digital marketing and social
Mhm.
media is that it's all online and I can work with
Exactly.
anyone anywhere.
Right, right. Wow. That's pretty amazing. And so have you had are you working or have been working with some high profile clients at any point, any major influencers in the social media world?
Yeah, definitely. I've collaborated with a few influencers on Facebook. That's generally my main platform that I've been focusing on lately. I've learned from some great influencers, like taken some of their programs as well. So I've definitely been able to be involved in that influencer circle, which is
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
been super eye opening. And I've learned so much over the past few years. And it's been awesome to be able to collaborate with some of them as well.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. And again, in today's world, I think that this is really something that, is worth really kind of chatting about like we're doing because so many people are turning to and not even just social media, but like you was mentioning earlier about digital marketing and things, they're turning towards this because this is truly the wave of the future. I mean, this is truly where everything is going.
Mm.
Prime example, even we're looking now at how we're working from home and everything is done remotely. And this is going to become our new norm, whether folks, like it or not. And moving forward, if you're looking to be a business owner of some sorts, it's important to learn how to even create a business model that is sustainable when you look at trying to do that online or through a social media platform. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and be incorporating like the digital element and being online is a huge way to making your business sustainable as well and making it longer lasting too, and making sure that you have that online presence as well, for sure.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to tell you this, and to all the listeners who's out there, Michelle and I have been collaborating, and we've been talking about some things. And so, one of the things that was very important to me is I wanted all of you to have the opportunity to walk away um, with something outside of just this wealth of knowledge that Michelle Virog really has when it comes to this platform. I know there are many of you who are asking yourself, what are the next steps? What do I do to build my brand? What do I do to continue to push my content? You believe in your content. You believe you have something that the world needs to see, needs to embrace, needs to hear, or whatever the case might be. But what are those next steps, and how do I do that? And am I doing all that I can, or there's some other things obviously that I can be doing or I need to be doing? So there's some things that, again, through some collaborative efforts between myself and Michelle, that we'd like to present that I think would be really good. We're going to be offering, and I will explain this. We're going to be offering two lucky people the opportunity to take direct advantage of Michelle's skills and her training and knowledge of the social media and personal branding. And we're going to do it by the one way we're going to do this is once we're done with this live video, and once this has finished posting, anyone who is interested in learning more about what can be done for your personal brand. Okay, once you see this video, it will be posted on YouTube. Okay. I'm going to specifically put it there on YouTube, and I'll explain why later. You will get the opportunity to look at this video, of course, under that where you can make your comments. You're going to start your comments by saying interested. Okay. Three-step phase. Number one, you're going to say you're interested. Number two, you're just going to give just a very, very quick blurb about why you're interested in um, getting an opportunity to do some collaborating with Michelle about your personal branding. And I'm going to explain some more of that in just a little bit. Step three, it is absolutely imperative that you give your social media platform links so that Michelle will get an opportunity to see them. So we're only going to be choosing two people. Okay, well, you don't know who those two are, and neither do we. So we're going to be again choosing two out of the bunch that respond on the YouTube page. Okay, once again, um, Michelle is going to be giving two separate offers to two separate individuals. To take advantage of these offers, we're going to tell you what those offers are in just a minute, but there's a three-step process that I need you to do. Number one, when you see this video, you're going to, in the comment section of YouTube under the video, you're going to put interested. You're going to give just a quick sentence or two, a couple sentences, just a quick blurb of why you're interested. And then number three, which is probably the most important, you have to leave your social media platform links, okay, so that Michelle can get an opportunity to look at those links. Michelle, would you like to explain why I mentioned to them that they definitely need to leave those links, and talk about what those two separate offers are going to be that you're going to be able to do?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really
Hmm.
excited for this. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
because I love helping other business owners, but
Yeah.
the one offer is going to be a free one-on-one coaching call with me. And so the reason why I need those links is because I'm going to do a full audit of your social media. And then we are going to get on a one-on-one. I'm going to go through and do an audit of your social media. We'll go through things that you can change and that you can improve. And I'm definitely going to make sure that you get some advice and tips that you can implement after our call to improve your social media and reach your audience. So that's the one offer. And then the second offer is that I'm currently working on a membership program called
Mm,
the Personal Branding Hub. And
yes.
this is going to be a program that'll have a whole bunch of teachings inside it. So there'll be video recording course modules that you can go through. There will be master classes from influencers. There's going to be content prompts and calendars. There's going to be a community. There's going to be mastermind calls and also accountability calls. So there's going to be a whole bunch of awesome, good stuff in there. And you are going to get 1 month free of that program when it launches in June. So that's really
Awesome.
exciting that you'll get the firsthand experience of the program right when it launches.
See, that is stupendous. Once again, you're going to get this one-on-one coaching, okay, from someone who's an expert, and this is what she does and has clients all over the world that she's working with right now. So you're going to get one-on-one coaching. She's going to do an audit. She's going to look at your social media platform, look at your content. And this is any social media platform, or is there any one particular one, Michelle?
This will be, well, the main ones I'll be focusing on are LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay, so one of those three, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, she's going to look at that and do a full audit and then give you advice on some things that are actionable, correct? I mean, we're going to actually go beyond just, I mean, it'll be tips, but they're actionable, which means that you can make some moves to say, hey, these are some things I can go ahead and implement right now, correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Amazing. And then the other offer that will be to the second person that will be chosen will be this free 1 month membership to all of these wonderful things that Michelle just mentioned, that they will have access to log into, right, Michelle?
Yes.
And it's almost like at their own pace whenever they get the opportunity to look at. Yeah, that is fantastic. And I'm going to be honest with you. The one thing that we didn't stress enough is, again, this will be an offer, which means it's free.
Yes, free.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I'm so glad that we were actually able to do this. Again, I feel wonderful that, Michelle, we were able to collaborate and to do this, because there's so many people who could use this kind of help with their own personal branding. And, I think this is going to be wonderful. Once again, if you are interested in the services of Michelle Virog, free, these two offers that she has, okay? Two offers. Offer number one will be one-on-one personal coaching from Michelle. And number two will be a 1 month free membership where you will have access to a plethora of different things that will be related to helping you build your own personal branding. And she just mentioned a whole host of things. To get access to this, or to put your, as they would say, to toss your head in the ring to be potentially selected, it starts here. Once this video is done, it will be dropped on YouTube, okay? I will be posting the links, so everyone will definitely have the opportunity to go there. Number one, when this video is done, you will type interested in the comment section under this video. The first thing you're going to type is interested. Number two, you need to give us a couple sentences as to why you're interested in Michelle helping you with your personal branding. And then number three, which is absolutely imperative, you've got to leave your platform links, your social media platform links, which will be one of three, or it could be all three. Am I right? That they want you to look at, Michelle?
Yeah.
It could be LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Yep. Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. One of those three. Okay. Or it could be all three if you have it. Michelle's going to do a full audit and then give you some top-notch advice and give you some things that's actionable that you can begin to work on right now under the guidance of this world-class professional here. Michelle, I want to say thank you so very much for sharing here on this platform and sharing your own difficulties and your own struggles, which has brought you to what you're doing now. in which you are using your talents, abilities, skills, and training to help other people kind of maneuver past their own difficulties and find success. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, it really was. Look, before we sign off, Michelle, I would love for you to definitely get the opportunity to to state your information so that our listeners know exactly how to find you, where to find you. Check out your website so that they can see the different things that you have done and that you are doing. Fire away.
Definitely. So my website is www.boldsocialstrategies.com, and on there actually you can sign up for a free 30-day content calendar. So you get that totally free, so that helps you kind of jumpstart your personal brand and know what to post for a full month. And you can also connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Michelle Virog, or on Instagram at Bold Social Strategies as well.
Amazing. All righty. And what I will also do is once this video drops, I will have all of that information to actually in written form, Michelle, so that folks
Perfect.
can, they'll be able to actually look at that and see it too. All
Sounds
righty.
good.
Sounds great. To all of the listeners out there, thank you so much once again for tuning in to another segment of Moving Beyond Life's Giants here with Will Weeks. As always, for those of you who are interested in the work that we are doing with this platform, we'd love to have you hop on board and to kind of keep up with this train that's moving. Check us out on my website, which is www.aboutweeks.com. Once again, www.aboutweeks.com is spaces. If you are on Facebook, we certainly would love for you to check us out there. Facebook link would be fb.me/aboutweeks. Once again, fb.me/aboutweeks. All of our podcasts are actually being loaded on our Facebook page. We'll be also on our YouTube channel, and also because we have our own servers now for loading our podcasts on the website aboutweeks.com. There's a link in the ribbon that says podcasts. You can see all of the wonderful podcasts, Michelle and others who we have loaded on there, and you have the opportunity to also download those podcasts in a video format or in an audio format if you just like to listen. Once again, this has been Will Weeks with Moving Beyond Life's Giants. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And until next time, God bless, and we will talk with you soon.